Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahawashi, Bashim Chakuras, double honors under the elders of Apostle Millstone, the elders of Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings under the hopeful elect. That's a serious servant like Yahweh, Bashim Yahawashi, serving with truth and sincerity. Yes, on the brother Chayaba from Zemus Plantable's camp. Come back with another lesson to the Spirit. As this lesson be based off of Acts chapter 4. And we can go into verse 13. This is Acts chapter 4, 13. Now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, and perceived that they were unlearned, ignorant men, they marveled and took knowledge of them, that they had been with Yahawashi. So you can ask the question, what made Peter and John qualify to teach and what to preach unto the people? So as we know Peter and John didn't have a certificate from the rulers or any type of educational certification. But as we just read, the rulers themselves could recognize that Peter and John had been with Yahawashi. And then when we read Acts chapter 8, or Acts chapter 4 and 8 through 12, we know that the rulers asked Peter and John, what name, or let's read it. It says Acts chapter 4 and 7. It says, and when they had set them in the midst, after Peter and John got arrested, it says they asked, by what power or by what name have you done this? So the rulers asked, by what power or by what name have you done this? And Peter, filled with the Holy Spirit, said unto them, ye rulers of the people and elders of Israel, if we this day be examined of the good deed done to the important man, by what means he is made whole, be known unto you all, and to all people of Israel, that by the name of Yahawashi Mashiach of Nazareth, whom ye crucified, whom the Most High raised from the dead, even by him doth this man stand here before you whole. So Peter gave the direct answer of how they're doing it. So obtaining that context, continuing on, it says, verse 11, this is a stone which is set on not of you builders, which has become the head of the corner. Neither is a salvation any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men, whereby you must be saved. So Peter gave a direct answer unto the rulers of Israel. So read verse 13 again. It says, now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, they perceived that they were unlearned, ignorant men. They marveled and took knowledge of them, that they had been with Yahawashi. So by the boldness and by how Peter and John were answering the rulers, they could already tell that they had been with Yahawashi. So Peter and John were speaking based on the knowledge that they've been given by the Holy Spirit, based on knowledge that they have been given by Yahawashi. And this is knowledge and this is understanding that you can't obtain through traditional education or whatever type of education of the world. You can't obtain it by the means of this world. No, this knowledge, wisdom, understanding is given from Yahawashi. That's how they could make a distinction that Peter and John had been with Yahawashi, by the way that they taught. And by their boldness, it says, and perceived that they were unlearned, ignorant men. They marveled, and they took knowledge of them, that they had been with Yahawashi. So there you have it. So right then and there, they could see, these guys clearly had been with Yahawashi, because they don't have the worldly status that the rulers had, and any proof of certifications. It says 1 Corinthians 1 and 26. For we see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, and it says, after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble or called, when the Most High has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and the Most High has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. So the things that are perceived as weak in worldly status, in the educational status of this world, the Lord has chosen those, the ones who don't have their college degrees, the ones who didn't finish school, the ones who don't have this super high position, chief position within a company or so on and so forth. Read again, 1 Corinthians 1 and 27. But the Most High has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. The Most High has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. So a direct example of weak things of the world confounding the things which are mighty was Peter and John confounding the rulers of Israel. So we have a direct example of that. So no matter how much worldly education you obtain, if you don't have the Holy Spirit, if the Lord, Yahawashi is not dealing with you, then you will have the truth and the true knowledge of wisdom and understanding, which is the only thing that matters. Because none of this knowledge of the world is going to get you saved. Now, it's not saying that the knowledge of the world is bad, but the point is that the real truth is going to come from the Holy Spirit. The truth actually gets you saved. You know, the things of this world are only temporal. So at some point, they're going to perish. Yeah, so Peter and John were not mighty or what, they weren't wise after the flesh, mighty or noble. But they're looked at as foolish things. They're really what? Foolish things of the world. But the point is that they confounded the wise, the rulers of Israel. It says 1 Corinthians 2 and 4. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of the Most High. Yeah, so Peter and John's teachings, or their authority, was not based on enticing words of man's wisdom. So what beyond polished speech, the rulers could see that Peter and John had been with Yahawashi by their boldness and, of course, the spiritual power that they've been given by Yahawashi. Acts chapter 4:14, it says, and beholding the man which was healed standing with them, they could say nothing against it. But when they had commanded them to go aside, out of the council, they conferred among themselves, saying, what shall we do to these men? For that indeed a notable miracle hath been done by them is manifest to all them that dwell in Jerusalem. We cannot deny it. So at this point, Peter and John didn't need any titles or any certifications to show that they had the truth and the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of Yahawashi. The work itself of the healed man being, or what the notable miracle, which was the healed man, already proves itself. So that's why the rulers couldn't deny it. Acts 4 and 18. And they called them and commanded them not to speak at all nor teach in the name of Yahawashi. But Peter and John answered and said unto them, whether it be right in the sight of the Most High to hearken unto you more unto the Most High, judge ye. For we cannot but speak the things which we have heard, and which we have seen and heard. So as Jeremiah, the scriptures say how the word was in him like fire, so he had to preach it. Peter and John were in the same spirit of preaching the things that they've seen and that they have heard. 2 Corinthians 11 and 6. But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things. So the prophets aren't going to be eloquent speakers, polished, eloquent speakers. Now, this doesn't mean that our speech doesn't get improved over time, because as prophets of Yahawashi, we do improve our reading and our studying, and the way we preach the gospel is improved. But the point is that we're not going to be eloquent speakers like Joel Osteen or some of these other pastors. So how a man teaches and stands on the pressure shows that he has been with Yahawashi. Because that spirit of boldness isn't given by the world. The wisdom, knowledge, understanding of Yahawashi isn't given or it's not obtainable by the world. No, it's obtainable by the Holy Spirit. So the ones who the Lord sends the Holy Spirit to, they're going to be the ones who receive it. The Lord's going to work with them so that they receive it and that they're able to teach His word. That's what Yahawashi did unto the disciples. So as the scriptures say, we are still commanded to study, to show ourselves approved. It's not just 100% faith. No, it's faith and works, as the scriptures say. And part of that work is studying. What's studying to show ourselves approved, as the scriptures go into. So in order to have more structure within His truth, the way we teach, we have to studying to show ourselves approved, and not just going off the top, for lack of better words. So I believe it's the point. Those of you brothers out there edified. Yahweh Bashmi Ashai, Bashmi Kakurash Brakathum. Shalom.